All opinions expressed on this presentation are of the individuals themselves. This is for adults only and may contain discussions likely to offend. Bald Statements, starring Rob Lewis, Gary Redfern, and Will Atkins. Episode 1, Non-PC PCs.
Hello, welcome to Bald Statements. I am Rob Lewis, but you'll hear me referred to as Bert. This is...
Gary, I'm Gary. Hello, I'm Gary Redfern.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
And in a far less camp way, I'm Will.
So the story is, we're three blokes, we're all bald. Do you want to just show them? You can put it back on, yeah. We're all bald, by choice. And we used to work together, and we don't really work together anymore, but we used to have a lot of bullshit conversations, which we thought might be entertaining for you, the listening public, to enjoy and pay for. So make sure you subscribe. Yeah, we have different opinions on subjects, is that right? Is that the one thing we could agree on?
Don't agree.
You don't agree on that?
No.
I agree on the winner, myself.
Yeah.
I'm not having it.
So, Will is proudly on the right, I am proudly on the left, but formerly of the right, and Gary, you're somewhere in the middle?
I'm in the middle, yeah, I'm right down the middle.
He takes up most of the middle.
So, we don't quite know how this is going to pan out, how it's going to work, so we're just going to go with the flow. Gary has kindly bought a Sun newspaper. What is today's date?
Today's date is the 27th of April 2013. That's right. Oh no, 2000. It was cheap.
Oh, yeah. Second hand by 10 years. Yeah, one job.
Well, at least the show can't age that way if we're doing news from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We got some catching up to do.
Yeah, blimey. Oh, look, the Queen's unwell.
Labour win.
That weren't happened 10 years ago. Diane Abbott was in. Right, so what are we gonna chat about some news stories and stuff?
Yeah,
in the news?
just see what's in the paper first, and then see where we go.
Okay, the headline on the Sun today is no more PC PCs.
Yeah.
So what's the story there then? Woke cops in blast by Suella, stop dancing and catch crooks. I don't know much about this story.
No.
I think we can insinuate by this story and see that the cops are far too busy focusing on what we consider non-violent crimes and waste of time crimes, whether it's speeding to hippies gluing themselves to the floor. Get out there and catch some real criminals.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I agree to a degree what you're saying there about the cops shouldn't necessarily be catching speeders, but speeding is an issue.
It is.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
I've got a ticket over there from when I got down in November. My first ever. But it can be dangerous if you're on the receiving end of a speeding vehicle.
But given the restraints in the police sector at the moment and the finances, surely people who get burgled and are waiting 5 days to get a criminal reference number, as opposed to get stopped by the hippies standing on the corners in the little villages with the speeding guns, use that time and utilise the time for actual crimes.
Yeah, I'm not against that. I think it's a shame that we're in an either-or situation, that we have to choose between these different situations.
Maybe we should get the army in to deal with the hippies gluing themselves to the roads.
Agreed.
See, where do you stand on... I'm pretty sure I know where you stand on Extinction Rebellion and the other groups like that.
Absolute bunch of morons.
Right.
Should all be shot. Absolute ridiculous, really is. I mean, go out there and do something productive with your life. Worried about all the global warming, to stick ourselves glued to the road, the Just Stop Oil Muppets. I think, Atkins removals for all your sofa and shed needs. Thank you. But yeah, I think go out and do something productive with the time. If climate change is an issue, which scientists have said that it is, the world has adapted as a planet to higher temperatures, to colder temperatures, to plenty of different things. We need to get this out of our heads that we are that important as a species to the planet Earth, that in 200 years, if the temperature goes up a degree and we have to readjust with flooded cities and things, we'll readjust.
Bit late then, though, isn't it?
It might be a bit late, but it's not going to happen overnight.
You've gone quite far here. I was specifically talking about the protesters. And I agree. I don't agree with what the protesters are doing. I agree with their reason for doing it, but their methods I disagree with, because they are then alienating the people they want to get on their side. That said, I don't know what other things they can do they haven't already done to get the message out there. I think.
I mean, they block up the M25 for 3 hours. People are going to have their engines running.
Yeah. If they're going to keep their engines running for 3 hours, I think they're idiots. But yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. Ambulances getting caught in the traffic jams.
Yeah, and there was an incident where a lady died before she got to hospital, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like a couple of years back. And I don't agree with their methods, but I do think they are conveying a message.
Yeah.
But they're just choosing the wrong way to get it out there.
You need the public on your side if you're going to protest. Yeah. You need the public sympathy. As soon as you lost that, you might as well just give up.
I think you also need the public to actually give a damn about it, to be fair.
A lot of them do.
No.
But they're then pushing those that do already give a damn.
You can say that...
Or those that sit on the fence, they push them too far.
You can say that there are people out there that do give a damn about climate change, in the sense where they will sort of try and make small adjustments to the things they do.
Recycling bins.
Such as recycling bins, things like that. But when you're going out there and, we're going to be 3 degrees hotter in 50 years' time, we all better glue ourselves to the roads and that. Are you really bothered right now what's going to happen to the planet in 200 years? No. Not one person is. As long as you and your kids are. No. In an ideal world, you'd say you would want the planet to still
planet will be fine.
But it's their problem.
The planet's not going anywhere. It's
exactly
just we won't be able to live on it.
Exactly, but in 200 years, we're not going to be around in 60
years.
No, we are. Nor our kids.
Great grandkids, that kind of thing. So
but it's easy for us to say that when we're in a country where we don't have massive tornadoes and massive weather differences.
Yeah, we get a hot July.
Yeah.
And we moan like fuck about it.
Yeah, and then we get a lot of rain, and we don't get any snow anymore. All right, but if you were living in a country where you're getting landslides because of the excessive rain and people are dying, your family members, then you might think, I'll do something about it. But they're in the poor countries anyway, where they can't afford to do anything about it.
Yeah.
They need to get their energy from any means possible, be it coal, oil, whatever. Us turning off a light bulb, is that going to help?
Not so much is it going to help. Are we that bothered about it? The only reason that people now are worried about their light bulbs and stuff is because save on your electric. I'm right on that the kids.
Yeah, some people are bothered about it. Just everyone's bothered to a degree.
Yeah, and I don't think you could have it. You're not going to get the support for the hippies gluing themselves to the road or disrupting events and things like that, unless they're actually going to put across a proper argument, supplemented by a proper plan of how to get around it.
I think that's what they're trying to do, but nobody's listening. Because the right-wing media keep referring to them as hippies and already poisoning the well with their argument by already painting them in a bad light.
If that's the case, there is far, far more left-leaning youngsters around that age now where their voices should be louder.
And to be fair, they're the ones that are going to be left to deal with the problem once we've gone.
They're not going to have the ability to deal with it. They haven't got the ability to tie their own shoelaces. Look at them. Most of them are in their 20s and their 30s without a job. Absolute hippies driving around in blimmin' vest tops and things like that. No, seriously, they are. You're not going to worry about what they're going to deal with. As soon as the older generation are gone, they're going to be, we can't glue ourselves to the roads anymore. How are we going to...
But we've raised them, so are we not to blame?
I'd like to say that, yeah. Let's go back to, remember The Sun, 20 years ago. It was all going on about broken Britain. Right, broken Britain, all these women out there, let's not get a job, let's knock out 7 kids, let's get a council house and do all that. And everyone at the time, this was the early 2000s, would be, wow, when these kids are brought up, they're not going to have a hope, they're not going to have a clue, it's going to be very hard on these kids because they've been brought up by families where the mums you look at and you think, wow, okay, you want to raise a gerbil, I wouldn't trust you to raise a gerbil, but do that. And now we're seeing the fruition of said gerbils in society. No, I'm being deadly serious. You come and see it. It's not a surprise. You can tell the people, you see it, and a lot, especially in the trade we used to be in, where you'd see in houses and that, you'd see children where it actually, basic respect and hard working ability in a child, or a child well mannered, it's disappointing. You think, wow, actually, you're a really good kid, rather than just a normal kid. Because the bar for children and for youngsters now, especially 20s and 30s, where they're getting into that age now, is so low. If you see a child or a 20-year-old with good manners, you're almost shocked.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, well done. If we were doing a removal...
You almost ridicule them.
Yeah, if we were
take the piss out of them for being too well spoken.
If we were doing a removal, you'd get one child who would be, say, child, and I'm classing from the age of about, say, 15 to 25, okay? One offspring, if you will. Who would, 1 out of 100, who would actually come and give us a hand and do something. Oh, we'll take some boxes in. How many of the other 99, well, 99 obviously, you see, sitting there on their phones, completely oblivious to it, moaning about the state of the world.
Yeah, that's true.
The problem.
there's no obligation for them to do that.
No, there's no
Some of
obligation.
them would do that because they want to help. They want something to do.
Yeah, because they're practical, they're proactive, they want to make something of themselves. The other 99, let's go down DIY shop, get some glue, stick our asses onto a road, get in the paper.
I mean, it's not it's not like either or.
No,
It's not one person's helping a removal and the other 99 are.
No, I'm not having it. I think it is.
Maybe it's because you're not working
I mean,
fast enough.
my son does neither. So,
Really, you want to pull at that string? But
my
yeah.
son has a job, but he part time, but he doesn't.
No, but
do
I'm
that.
sure your son would have manners.
He does. Yeah.
He does have manners, exactly. So he's one of the one who's not in the 99.
Right.
And that's the problem.
But people that glue themselves to roads can still have manners.
No,
it's not an either
They
or.
might have said please for their super glue.
Someone,
when they buy the glue from the
someone
shop.
dying in an ambulance on the
Some super
road,
glue, please.
my manners are going to be, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to kick and scream. And the second the copper touches me to get me off the road, I've been assaulted, you can't touch me, I'm a woman. Whoa!
That needs to be addressed, but it goes the other way, doesn't it? Because police now have got a bad reputation for sexual abusing and
Try to slam your can too hard.
abusing their power.
Terribly so.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
But they need to be tougher. But there's a fine line between being tough and being an arsehole.
I think the issue with the police as well is just no trust in the police.
When I was a kid, I trusted the police. They would not hit you, or they would guide you home.
You know you get a bollocking off a copper.
Exactly. If you was a troublemaker, I was a bit of a troublemaker. You would be told to go home, and the fear of the policeman telling your parents was enough for you to go home.
Yeah.
Now the kids think the parents can't touch you. You can't hit your kids, smack them on the arse. Mm-hmm. Don't see why. The police can't touch you because then you'll sue them. It's just gone ridiculous.
Discipline has pretty much been prohibited in this country.
You can discipline without hitting.
Yeah,
I used to feel exactly the same way about hitting kids. I used to think there's a difference between hitting a kid and beating a kid. Mm-hmm. And yes, there obviously is, but I don't think now that there's the argument that if you can't discipline a child with reason, then maybe your argument isn't right and you shouldn't actually be...
No, because I think that's putting too much pressure on the kid to understand the reason. Kids can be young age.
Well, if they're too young to understand, then how is hitting them going to help?
Agreed that they're hitting, but there are alternatives. For example, I've never ever raised a hand to my daughters, but if ever they give attitude or used a swear word when they were younger, I've done it about 4 times. Both of them, I've got the world's hottest sauces. I love them. I give them a teaspoonful of the hot sauce. If there was attitude or there was a swear word, sit down the table. And the good thing was, after the first time, I didn't say to them, if there was a bit of attitude, right, you're having a spoonful of hot sauce. The period between me saying they're getting the punishment and them doing it, well, I don't want it, that was the period that they had to wait until they got a glass of milk. So actually, by time 4, it was, you're having hot sauce, okay, Dad. So then they knew they were getting the milk straight away. And from that point on, no swearing and attitude, very minimal. Still what comes in which you have to have with teenage daughters and stuff. But in general...
That's one method. I mean, I don't know if it's quite the best thing, but it's...
Force feeding your child.
No, not force feeding. Give them the option of having a teaspoon of hot sauce, or they can lose all their phones, their computers.
The popular thing in the last few years has been the naughty step. We live in a bungalow.
Front doorstep.
But you have naughty corners, things like that. Time out. Apologies for all the banging, as Will can't sit still. But
It's not that, it's the cokes.
you keep hitting the table.
Gary's taking up my...
Don't tar me with your fucking fidgeting brush.
language with... Yeah. But no,
Discipline.
discipline, yes.
Yeah.
What's your views on discipline?
So,
Well, I think you
so
should.
if Will keeps hitting the table, I've got some hot sauce.
Yeah.
Go on,
I'll
Gary.
take it quickly.
Stop banging your can down
Well,
on the table.
It's not... Get a mat.
Use this thing here. Use that.
Still. It's allowed as
The
well.
listeners can't see, but the all the mics are attached to the table, so
Oh, okay.
and it peaks on here. So sorry, Gary.
And then we go to teachers. Then
No, discipline from Gary first.
Yeah, well, discipline. That's the teachers. Teachers
okay.
haven't got any discipline over the kids because they can't touch them. They not so much touch them. They can't. They can't shout
Some
at
do.
them. Yeah, well, yeah. They can't shout at them. They can't. There's no.
It's difficult for them.
There's no respect. It all basically goes down to respect, doesn't it? My old headmaster from primary school, he was brilliant. I won't name him, but he was brilliant, and I actually moved him, and I still couldn't call him by his first name. I had that much respect for him. I called him by his Mister.
Yeah.
And because he said no, call me I said, I can't do it, because he was such a good teacher. He was hard, he was fair, but he had the respect, and that's gone now.
Can I just interject very, very quickly for the listener's point of view? When we talk about moving, we used to do removals together, household removals, just so there's no...
Gary and I
You
used to
push
do
around a
the
wheelchair.
upstairs, Bert used to do the downstairs.
I used to do the upstairs for everyone else, which is why I buggered my knee, because I was the only one doing it. But
Too busy crouching down playing guitars, just saying.
and here we are now in my studio.
Yeah, thanks, Bert.
I used to go all
Yeah,
over
I
the
just want to
place.
make that clear. We're not pushing his headmaster around in a wheelchair when he's moving him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
removals. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, teach. So as you know, I teach. I'm not a school teacher. I do some peri teaching, which is where you go into a school and do one-to-one lessons. And I don't need to shout at the students, but I still command respect from them. I think a lot of it is, if you treat them with respect, they'll treat you with respect back.
Granted, however, you get to ultimately select your students. A student can come
No.
to you. You can say no.
I can say no.
Exactly.
And
So
then
if
I've
they
got to
were
explain why.
So at a school, they get given 30 kids.
I do teach in schools as well.
Yeah.
But do the people who go to your classes want to be there? Or
Yes,
is it...
yes,
yeah,
so
Yeah,
that-
so there is a percentage
There is a
at
difference
school
there,
where
yeah.
they get thrown.
They want to be there to
Yeah.
learn.
And also, the problem is that kids nowadays, there is no kid who is just a little shit. He's got to have 4 initials, and that's the
That's
reason
got-
why
yeah.
he decides to punch the teacher. That's the reason
Not
why he doesn't
always.
do his homework. No, a lot of the time.
I know what you
And the
mean.
thing is, a lot of children now instantly know if he's a little crap bag or she's a little madam. It's not because she's been a little crap bag, punish her and send her to a room. No, sorry, she stabbed the teacher in the eye with a pencil, but she has anger issues.
Work would be taken. Action would be taken there. You're talking about ADHD, is that?
No, I'm talking about everything, not just ADHD, because the
Because
problem
that has
is...
to be diagnosed.
Yeah.
There's got to be a label. Someone you
There
can't
is.
you can't just be
No.
a shitbag. You've got to have a
And
label.
this is the
these
thing,
days,
and I'm
isn't
not
it?
saying these labels don't exist. I'm saying that what happens is there are children out there who genuinely do suffer from these either mental health issues or things like that. I get that, but there are also a large percentage of kids and parents who will just jump their kids on to that bandwagon to just cover themselves being a shit.
They might. I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
I'm saying it does.
But it has to be diagnosed. But it's difficult. We haven't got statistics. You don't know how many are doing it genuinely and how many are doing it.
But you've got the ADHD, but there's plenty of others, hyperactivity, behavioural disorders, personality disorders and things like that. And the problem is, because everyone, all these parents now, who, a lot of them who have the children who are a lot of the issues, not all of them, but they're straight away, rather than just hold their hands up and go, maybe I shouldn't have been looking at my phone all the time when my kid was wanting to spend a bit of family time. Maybe when they were out on street corners at 11:15 at night, I should have made sure they're in bed because they're only 8 years old, things like that. Instead of that, so they're easy to jump on the, oh no, my kid's got this, and make an excuse. The kid instantly hears that. When I was a kid, you swore or did anything, think, I got a bar of soap in the mouth, you'd be punished. And you'd, as Gary was saying, like, about, you'd have the respect thing of the police, damn, or your head teachers, and certain things, and you'd be like, I can't cross that line. Well, no, the parents and society makes excuses for children.
But action will still be taken.
Yeah.
It's just a different form of
Yeah,
action.
but you
get
can't-
exclusions, things
Can't
like
punish
that
them
now.
too severely, though, because that won't be good for their
Well, you
their
can.
well-being.
They can exclude them from school.
And if they get
That
excluded
happens.
from school, they then get put into a special school where they're all treated as... The people we moved from France last week, the lady was a head teacher at one of these schools for children with behavioural difficulties. And she said there were half of them who did have behavioural difficulties. The other half, they were just so-and-sos.
Right.
And that's the problem where people jump on the bandwagon, it devalues it.
And these kids who are little shits, not everyone, but 9 times out of 10, the parents are little shits. So they don't tell the kid off because they know that the parents will come down and kick off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then when
no, I get that.
you've got my kids are decent. They'll be naughty and they'll get told off. We won't. If they're naughty, they get told off. School deals with it.
Mm-hmm.
We won't go down and kick off. But that's the other problem as well. It's
But
like,
then that goes against the previous argument because they were the ones of our generation that were disciplined. So if those parents are little shits, then that goes against the
Yeah,
argument
but
about
no, I
smacking
don't
and
think that
stuff.
does, because that's...
the 7 kids
It
in
didn't-
one
didn't work.
game,
And
but
also
they're 7.
that's expecting that every kid responds that way too disciplined. There are some kids who just completely go off the rails no matter what.
And some parents just turn out to not be very good at it.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's not
And that can
necessarily
be
their fault.
Yeah, exactly that. It doesn't have to be their fault.
You know,
we could all
some people can't cook.
Yeah,
but
we could all. I'm sure if we were to name our own parenting flaws, we could all name loads for ourselves. And things.
Yeah.
But there are basic parental, rules,
that's it,
if
just
you
drive
will,
the table a bit more.
where you can go for. I'm going in a minute. I'm not banging it, but there are basic ones which sort of like almost human instinct, the right and the wrong.
But isn't it weird that you need a license to drive? You need a license to watch telly. You did need a license to keep a dog.
Yes.
You don't need a license to make a human being and bring it into this
But
world.
you do to adopt. Or not a license, but you have to jump through hoops to adopt a child that hasn't got a family. And I think adoption should be easier. And I don't know how you'd police this. I think adoption should be easier. And having children, again, without sounding a little bit Hitlery, I don't know how you'd actually police reducing population.
So with you on this, and we've had chats about this before. Sterilisation, 100%. From now on, completely flip it. It's kids. You have to. You want to have a kid. If you want any help from the government, from the NHS for anything for your child, then you have to apply for it. Show you've got the funds to provide a stable background and a stable background.
I agree with this in theory, but how do you actually implement it? Because without getting like China,
Throw them on a road. Throw them out.
Throw 'em out where?
Throw them out. It'll soon. I know it's a
throw
bit
who out of what?
If they've had a kid and they can't afford it, or they've gone against the licence, you're having absolutely nothing from the
So
state.
you take the kids
government,
away from the families?
No. Whatever. Forget about them.
And how many?
Forget about them. Cast them away.
So then you get more crime.
Oh, you get more crime, but you could.
Homelessness.
It would be.
That all of a sudden everyone seems to care about when the hotels are getting full. All of a sudden everyone
Homelessness has always been a
becomes...
problem. No. That's 100%.
That's episode 3.
You need to police it. There will always be people to get around it, but in general, for the best for your child and that, you need to bring in licences and sterilise them. Sterilise people.
Sterilising, that then becomes a whole different thing. That's then eugenics. That's then saying you can't have a child because of this. That is
because
getting a
you're
bit
not responsible enough. You're not
Nazism.
financially stable enough. No,
But you're
Nazism.
never in a financial position to. What is the amount?
That takes away the freedom of choice.
No. Put it this
And
way.
everyone should have freedom of
The
choice.
financial position being not where you have to have X amount, but if you are pretty much living on benefits and creaming the benefit system for everything that your heart desires, your council tax, your rent, and everything else, don't go and have a kid.
Is that still going on as much?
Yes, of course it is.
Because
of course it is. You look now.
Trying to get benefits.
No.
Is
We
not
are going to
as easy
be.
as people think it is.
You think how it was 20 years ago with the broken Britain things and that was in the news, which turned out to be true.
In the
okay?
red
Now
tops.
you look that in the red tops, it was widely appreciated by everyone that it was true, and it's been proven to be true. But now, kids like our 17-year-old children, I've got 17, you got 17-year-old. Realistically, in 2 years' time, they'd probably be looking at moving out. Well, rent. They're not going to be able to afford it. They're not going to be able to afford. From a young woman's perspective, having a kid is pretty much a career choice. Get a house, get benefits paid, get on the property ladder, or even though it's rented and all that. Or do you go out to work, and which I pray, my daughters work, and I hope they continue to do it. But do you work, save up ridiculous amounts of money, so then you can pay for a 1-bedroom studio apartment at £850 a month? Never mind all the other bills. And do you do that? Or do you go out and knock up a chavvy? You get your rent paid, you get your house given to you, you get your council tax given to you.
You don't knock up a chavvy.
if that's genuinely what's happening,
You get knocked up
I'm
with a
not
chavvy.
saying it doesn't happen, but without figures and stats, you can't say how much it's
You
happening.
can, and also with stats and
you
figures,
can't,
we've said this,
because
you
anyone
can
I can say
manipulate
that's not
stats,
happening.
you can manipulate stats to fit any argument. You could give me a stat of something here, and I'm sure you could have an argument that stat backs up
You have to
an
also be
argument.
able to prove that these women are doing that deliberately.
You can quite simply see it.
That's
I used to work at a pub.
If
You
if
may
someone
be able to
accused
see
you of a
it, yeah.
burglary and you say, well, you can see it because he wears that hat, you can see he's a wrong un.
Yeah.
You'd argue that in court, wouldn't
But
you?
I would, and I'd say I've got no stolen goods on me whatsoever. You find no evidence of it whatsoever.
You've shifted
You
it.
paid money for that hat.
Don't knock it. This comes from
Yeah.
Harbour Market in Camden Market.
Yeah.
Do me a deal. It was
It's on
30
the-
quid.
it's on the floor.
Cost 20.
£30.
It cost 20. I got him to do me a deal on 2 of them.
Couldn't believe his luck.
Anyway, we digress. But it's easy to
move back. Yeah.
it's easy to prove. You can't prove that a bunch of women are doing that. You can think it,
Yeah.
but I don't know how you can.
And you might
actually
necessarily know
prove
it's
it.
happening, but yeah, it's not what you see, it's what you can prove.
You can think it and believe it, but it's another thing to actually cut their benefits because they've done it to have this.
That's true of a lot of arguments.
Exactly, that's why the three of us are here to try and sort this out.
So you're cutting the benefits. So people on job seekers allowance or whatever it's called now, if they refuse 3 jobs,
universal credit.
is it all under one banner now? So they refuse 3 jobs, don't get any. Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Simple as that. Because when I first started working, it wasn't the job that I wanted, but once I had money coming in, then I could afford to take my time and get the job I wanted.
But what if one of those jobs you didn't lose through your own fault? I got the sack once from a company years ago for something that wasn't my fault. Someone was nicking stuff and I didn't grass them up. So I didn't know they were doing it.
But if it's not your fault, then
I still got the sack for it.
But you still got another job.
Yeah.
So that's
not straight away. I had to sign on for a couple of weeks, whatever it was.
Sign on for a couple of weeks. One thing I will say, and I do have evidence for, and where people, and this is where you can differentiate, there are plenty of people out there who will be on the job seekers and say, I can't find a job. I can't find a job. There are no jobs about. All of us three know, especially as we've all been self-employed, that pretty much in a few different fields, if one of us had to go out and get a job, we would most probably be able to get a day's work by tomorrow, not even using our existing contacts, by going out and being proactive.
Yeah,
you could get a day's
but
work.
Not everyone can do that.
No, not everyone, but it's not because we've got any special skills in that regard. It's mainly about making contact with people, showing there and making the effort.
Yeah.
You hear about some of the places we've been to, you see all these emails and CVs and that, which mean, Jack, I know people who are awful who've had best CVs and people who are terrible, who are great whose CVs were bad. But I think you go out there and be proactive and show that you want it. There are jobs out there and work. The thing is, there are not the jobs for everyone to do. And that's where people get selective and think, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that. I'll just sit down on my backside all day and be a bum.
And watch me big fuck-ass TV.
Yeah, and I'm not just
Sky.
digging out people in Liverpool or things like that for it, but you get places and cities in the world.
Sorry.
29 minutes.
No, you do. There are cities in that where there are plenty of jobs about, but a lot of the people decide against working unless their dream job comes up. And they lose the idea that to get to where you want to be, you need to work hard.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing, but
Bloody hell, can
can you show that though? Have you heard someone actually
Where is your
explicitly
evidence for this?
saying that?
Is it in your pocket?
No.
Under your hat?
I'll show you the Liverbird badge. But no, it is. There have been people where I have chatted with over the time, and you hear it a lot of times.
LFC logo now.
No, where you chat to people and they say, oh no, there's not really any jobs out there I want. Cool, there's a job there going. No, and we've all know, I've known plenty of people that said to me, anywhere that, days work's going and all that. Well, yeah, do you want to come do this, say, with me? Oh, no, not really. I've got a couple of bits I've got to do that day and stuff. It's laziness.
But my first job when I left school was working on a pig farm, shoveling pig shit. That's not anyone's dream job. But then I stayed with that company for, I think it was about 15, 16 years. And ended up, it was a pig farm, then it was a food processing plant as well. I ended up being team leader in one of the areas. Yeah, I did, believe it or not. And, you progress. And I was earning more money than I could spend.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous because I started off shoveling shit and then ended up telling other people to shovel shit. Yeah. And it was great, it was brilliant. But,
And I bet you didn't need many qualifications to get that job. And I'm not digging you out, I'm saying I bet...
I had shit qualifications. So,
if only I was buying a drum kit for that.
But yeah, get a job, get your foot on. It's like the property ladder. Get your foot on the ladder wherever you can. Doesn't matter whereabouts on this ladder it is. Get your foot on it, and then you can go from there.
At the moment,
That's
though, for
difficult,
anyone to get that, unless you've got about 30, 40 grand away, it's very hard to get on the
I
property
saw on the
ladder.
work ladder, but
Yeah. Oh, you said the property ladder.
I meant work. But yeah, you go on the work ladder.
That's how the show's going to work.
You go on the work ladder, then you eventually get on the property ladder.
Well,
Not
Being
necessarily.
it
I've been on the
renting
work-
or-
I've been on
If
the
you
work
can
ladder for a
save-
long time.
Yeah, but you're renting. You've got.
I have a home, yeah.
Exactly. So without working,
nice
you wouldn't
home.
have a home, would you?
well, no,
Let's
you
face
would.
it.
You would. If he didn't work, if he was with a lady and the child, if he lost his job, he would still have a home. The council would be obliged to give him a home for him. His
But I would
missus
then
and his
have
child.
to go through the rigmarole of applying for jobs and all that kind of
100% it's rigmarole, but it would be you're not going to be homeless. That's the problem. But getting on the property ladder, if you start off in a career and somehow you get inheritance or whatever, you've earned yourself 30, 40 grand to put a deposit in a house.
All right,
can
you
do that.
get a home where you want to live. You don't necessarily get a home in a council.
That's
full
a
of
good
fucking
point, actually.
idiots.
These people on the benefits, they don't choose. I think they can have one refusal, can't they?
No, I think you can actually have two. I
There
believe.
used to be one, unless
I
you've
made a
got
good point.
unless you've got like a legitimate, like a violent ex lives on that street or something.
Yeah.
I think you
But
only
what you can do
maybe
is,
two.
after you've moved into said council property, you can be there for 1 year, and then you can apply for exchanges. And there are exchanges going on all over the time. So realistically, if you want to move anywhere else within a year, put yourself up, and they can then fluctuate once they're in the
but
council system.
if you're on shit street and you want to go to nice lane,
Yeah.
the person on nice lane isn't going to want to swap to go to shit street, are they?
Believe it or not, we were on shit street when we were in Plymouth, and we thought the exact same. And there were people in Haverhill on Nice Lane.
All places in Haverhill.
Yes. And Nice Lane came and said to us in Shit Street in Plymouth, we want to move down to Plymouth, just be down the docks, looking for a flat. Lovely. Then with our last one, where we lived in just on the outskirts of Haverhill, between Haverhill and Cambridge, thought, okay, we're going to be there for a while after we suffered a burglary. And we then got very, very nice lane in a village just outside there of Haverhill. And couldn't believe it. Was like absolutely superb to do. So it is out there, but we were proactively pushing it. We weren't sitting there waiting for a call. We were out there, anyone want this? And there are, because a lot of people have different circumstances when they're looking at a house. Excuse me. But where they're looking to for children for school. Look, really going to dig me out for burping? Right?
This is what people are listening for.
Yeah. But yeah, so there are ways to do that. So while they might not initially have the ideal place they want to be, they're getting a house for dirt cheap rent, where they're going to get all their building works and anything repairs done for free. They're going to get, a lot of the time, the rent paid and that. So you're not going to be that picky and choosy.
But not all of them, you don't know that they're all choosing that.
No, not
a lot
all.
of them might.
Not all.
Might
I'm
have
saying
no choice.
a high percentage.
How do you know it's a high percentage?
Because I do know. Look.
Is your proof under there again?
All I'm asking for is you to show how you know it's so many.
Life experience.
Without
life experience. I've been
You're
in
in
those
your
circles.
30s.
Thank you. What were you
What
in your
life
40s?
experience have you
You're not
possibly
getting on
had?
You're like
the camera's just getting the side of your head
4
now.
years younger than me, older than me.
For those that
You're-
for those that have paid for the video.
Yeah. No. Yeah. The top's come off for the premium edition. But no, it's. I can't remember what I was saying. I was disagreeing.
Yeah,
I
because
just
you've
want
got
to
the short
apologise to the
attention
listeners
span.
for
What
this.
was it? It's no.
I asked you how you know so many.
Oh yeah,
Apologies
through
for
life
that.
experience, being around those circles, I fluctuated between sort of all different types of circles in
Shit lane and
my
nice
life.
alley.
Yeah, exactly. And you come to see them. I mean, Plymouth was a hole. I mean, the biggest hole I've ever been in.
There must
my
be
life.
nice places.
Apologies
in
for
Plymouth.
any listeners in Plymouth.
Might be there might be. I'm telling you now,
Apologising
the
a lot.
areas that we were living in Plymouth and that was unpleasant. And everything that I've said there, I could name you individual names of people. Oh my God, how they're even classed as human beings is actually detestable to society. Not all Plymothians, may I add, because I do have family down
That's
there.
a nice word.
I'm saying the
Say that again.
Is that the proper
example,
word?
Plymothians.
Spell it.
Is that the proper word?
PLYMOUTHIANS.
You can fucking make it up, Could have put a Q in it for
Yeah.
it.
No, I don't like cues. But no, we get we've had a fair few examples of that down there, and it was I think I'd rather go on a week's holiday to Syria than go and spend a week back down where we lived in Plymouth. There you go. That's that.
Okay.
So from my own experience, yeah.
They never an earthquake in Syria.
So how many was that then?
Oh, what in terms of actual numbers? Well, out of the
This is
okay,
what I'm asking
from the
for.
percentage of people that I knew then in Plymouth. Okay, so say
And
there
they
were
all
about
came to you and said explicitly, "Hey, Will, I only got knocked up to get a free house."
40, okay, say a hypothetical number of 40, I think it was about that figure. I would say 25 of them fell into that category, which is a big percent. 25, sorry, that I could probably name names. That is a pretty
But it's
solid
not
number.
name
There you
names.
go. No, I'm not naming names. No, I'm not naming names.
There'll be a lot of beeping.
Yeah, but no, in general, that is my percentage. So if it was 1 or 2, wouldn't even register.
No, I get that.
25.
But
So from
it's
life
still-
experience.
It's still. We can't see that. I mean, Gal.
No, but you can take my word for
But
it. You're not going.
I'm not saying you're going to lie about that, but
Yeah.
it's. I'm going to let that one go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
I'll
can't-
take it. I'll take it. No, I'll take it.
Doesn't mean you've won.
No,
saying
it
you're
does.
right.
I'm having it. No,
No.
I'm having it.
I can't deny your life experience.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I-
I can't confirm it either.
No, you can't. But you don't need to confirm. You just don't need to deny
Yeah.
it. Exactly.
And the listeners will make up their own opinions. Let us know in the comments what you think.
Just down there.
Yeah.
Stop pointing at your dick.
Yeah, that comment.
Right. Where do you want to go next? BBC, Gary Lineker.
Now let's see. Let's
Yeah,
have a
there's
look.
paper.
Right, let's have a look.
Sorry, I'll follow
That was page 1. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we really discussed
No,
the actual thing much.
No.
Man City 4, Arsenal 1. Thoughts on that very briefly?
A fantastic Manchester team.
Okay, it's not
The
Manchester.
best, the only Manchester
The
team.
best team in
It's
Manchester.
not
Smiling
by far.
Manchester. It's Qatar FC. Arsenal put up a valiant attempt, but to be honest, Arsenal are too busy laughing at
Qatar
Spurs.
FC.
Qatar.
Oh, Qatar, sorry.
So they're bought by the Qatari state.
Right,
And
okay.
funded by the Qatari state.
Wouldn't
But
it be
yeah,
funny if Man United actually lost to Tottenham tonight? That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Why would it be hilarious?
Because they got spanked, didn't they? Did Tottenham get spanked?
Yeah, by Newcastle, 5-1.
Yeah.
6-1.
And then
5
if,
down after
if,
20
if
minutes.
Tottenham beat Manchester United,
Yeah, it just shows
my
that football's a strange old game.
it's shit.
Spurs are playing at home as well.
Someone we knew had that, or a funny old game, didn't they?
Funny old game.
Yeah. Mr. Greaves.
Mr. Gree, yes,
Yes,
Mr.
we
Greaves.
moved the late
Mr.
Sir Jimmy
Greaves.
Greaves a few years ago. A couple of times, didn't we?
We did move him a couple of times.
Nice guy. So
Best footballer we've ever moved in terms of charisma and manners. And
he was very, yeah, he bought us
Very.
lunch.
Yeah,
Gives us a
did.
£20 a man per day.
£50 tip at the end each.
Yeah.
Well, you might have got 20.
No, it was like 20. He had like £20 per man per day because it all worked out at the end.
I got 50.
He was the last person I moved before I got married.
Really?
Yeah.
I moved someone
I'm
into
divorced
Jimmy
now.
Greaves' old house.
What, the one in that?
I don't know where it
near
was.
Castle
Sudbury.
Headingham.
I don't know. It was.
Yeah, but his one initially where
Big,
he was
massive
at,
bungalow
where he was
thing.
just
Yeah,
near.
yeah.
Yes,
It wasn't
With
him
the
himself.
orangery.
Yes, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it was a bluery.
I can't think where that was. So I've just got one here. I've not really looked into this much. Three
Okay.
men who have raised £1 million. Let's do a little short one before the end of the episode. 3 men who have raised £1 million by trekking across the UK to improve awareness of child suicides meet PM Rishi Sunak to discuss how best to help youngsters who feel desperate. Name, and name. 3 dads walking. They're in the paper. Andy Airy, Mike Palmer, and Tim Owen, known as 3 dads walking, all lost daughters to suicide and are calling for suicide prevention lessons in schools. Mr. Sunak said they are inspiring. That's the whole article. What are your thoughts on that?
Gary?
Yeah, kids are very depressed.
Sorry about the rustling of the newspaper.
Kids are. I would hate to be a kid at the moment. Well, no. Yeah, I'd hate to be a kid. Growing up now,
Yeah.
because you got social media. You haven't just got the bullying in the playground with
Cyberbullying.
the dead leg and all that sort of thing, and you look silly in a hat. Then you go on social media and you post pictures of silly people in hats, and then you get verbal bullying. Then other people jump on the bandwagons who you don't even know, and it's just horrible being kids. Best thing kids can do is tell someone, whoever it is, parent, sibling, relative, doesn't matter. Just tell someone.
Yeah.
Just to start and get help.
I think that's back. You've got to create the atmosphere where kids are comfortable chatting to their parents about it. They're a favourite.
Yeah, and
Kids
not
who
every
don't
kid
know
wants to talk to
anything.
their parents about it because their parents might be the reason they're getting bullied.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
if there's an uncle, like you say, a relative, an older brother or sister, whatever.
I think you need to be more. People need to be more aware with how children are feeling. But I do feel that there is a lot of pressure put on youngsters these days.
I'm not going to go into any specifics, but I knew of a incident that was happening, and they went to their school friends' parents because they felt comfortable talking to them.
Yeah. I think everyone should have an ear, and I don't think, to be honest, I think if a child came up to you, or a youngster, anyone really, and said they were feeling that way, I think you've got to be pretty harsh to turn around and not show any interest.
Yeah.
There are people out there like that, but
Yeah.
in
And
general,
it's not
most
always
people
due
won't
to
do it.
bullying. There's all sorts of reasons why.
Social media has not helped.
No.
Everything now from TikTok videos to blimey girls from the ages of even 8 or 9 dressing up with makeup and all this sort of thing. You think, oh my good God, what are you doing?
And it's the filters. People watch these fucking TikTok videos, and it's filters, and it's if it's on TikTok, it must be true.
Yeah.
Kids think TikTok is the Bible, and it's not. It's.
I've only just gone on TikTok.
I'm on
Recently.
TikTok. I've posted 3 videos, and I've got so many followers, and I don't even know them. And yeah.
What filters do you use?
No. One to colour this in.
This is really Ariana Grande here.
Yeah. But it's weird. I got people, oh yeah, I love your videos. Like, well, I didn't do it for you. I just done it to muck about. What I've,
Yeah.
it's so annoying. And
The thing is, when we was young, when we were young, if we wanted to find out things in the news, you'd either see your granddad or dad had left the paper on the table,
Yeah.
you'd watch the 10 o'clock news and that. Kids now get so informed and ill-informed by TikTok about what's happening in the world. Luckily, I mean, my daughters would always come up to me and go, did this happen or this is happening? And you'd be like, I mean, some of the stuff like when Ukraine and Russia started the war, other things that have gone on, the cost of living crisis and COVID, youngsters were taking it as gospel at what was being said, and I find that's a massive issue as well. On TikTok, you can watch TikTok for 5 minutes and be convinced the world's going to end, you've got the AIDS virus, and your parents hate you. And if that's
And then you
taken
could learn a
for 5
stupid
minutes-
dance.
Yeah. No, during COVID, see, you did that as well, didn't you?
So defensive there. Like.
No, I'm having it. No,
I wasn't even talking about your videos.
Oh, was you not? Oh, good. Yeah, all good. No, keep that out of it because Gary did it as well. So go back me up. Right.
Floss.
Yeah, no, TikTok is a laugh, but the kids have got to understand it. It's not gospel, and if they don't understand it, again, ask someone. You know, it's amount of times my kid has come down. Oh, I'm going to put this and this and put it in the oven, and it'll taste really nice. So it won't.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? It won't taste nice because look at the ingredients you put in. Yeah, but it's on TikTok.
It's a cat.
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's probably not why they're committing suicide.
Oh yeah,
There's all sorts of reasons why they might be doing it. And
I think
there's something that's going to come up in a later episode, I'm sure, is about genderism and how they feel about that. And that could be one reason why.
That'll probably be a whole episode. If I'm honest.
About why
Or it'll
they,
be a 10-minute one. There's two, but we'll save that. We'll save that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that could be a reason why they're feeling
I just say, I go back to my previous point, that too much is put on kids' heads and too much information is given to them, their brains are still...
But sometimes they need that information to stop them feeling the way they feel. They can't help how they're feeling.
Don't need information like some...
Everyone needs information.
No, they don't need information that's not relevant
Look at Johnny Five.
to society.
He needed input.
And number 5 claimed he was alive, and he did turn out to be alive at the end. But he was a robot, and he was made a robot, and he always was a robot.
What's this?
Short Circuit, Johnny
Oh,
number
sorry.
5. Alive,
Right, okay.
Number 5 alive, you know, and he was.
I've watched it since I was a kid.
Yeah, no, it's a class
He
film.
watched it last week.
But no, it's...
A bit like Wally.
No, nothing like Woody. No.
He looks a bit like him.
Oh, he's a robot. That's
Well, he's got the same sort of head.
saying
with
that's a little
with
bit
the eyes.
stereotypical there, isn't it? They all look the same, these robots. Coming
yeah, I'll
over.
have robots after me now.
Yeah, robot racism. Right. So, that's... is it fag break time for this?
No,
Just about.
If kids are watching this, which they shouldn't, or if parents think their kids are having issues, talk to them or get someone to talk to them because kids feeling rough and feeling down and want to commit suicide is an issue. So
Yeah.
if you see
Irrespective
someone,
of the reason why.
Yeah.
There's no one's right to tell you how you should be feeling or how you shouldn't be feeling.
Exactly.
Always make sure you got a... Don't point at me. I'm agreeing with you. No, I just think there are some... What were you saying? Yeah. No, I do agree with that. I do agree. Especially for, youngsters, teenagers coming into this day and age. There's a lot of stuff we weren't made aware of sort of when we were younger. You always thought either you were the only one or someone you knew, say, at school was... You always knew there was always, say, one person who'd either cut themselves with the... what was it? The compass thing and all that.
Yeah.
You had that. And a lot of the time then you were just like... You thought in the 90s and the 80s, she's a bit crazy, a bit nutty. But I think that was probably because we weren't under the impression that it was as widespread as it is. There are a lot of people feeling like that, so there was a lot of ignorance on it. And I feel now is no excuse for the adults and the older generation to be aware that this is a thing and to try and ignore it like we would have done when we were younger, because it's out there.
Yeah.
Very sensibly and well put, there, Will.
Time's up.
I'm having it.
Well, that's the first episode of Bald Statements. You can have that one for free on us. I don't know quite how we're going to work this, but we're going to have a Patreon and all that kind of shizzle to try and keep it ad-free. I don't know how it's going to work. We might get ads. Who knows? But any final thoughts?
What's the next topic next week?
Well, we'll find out.
We got to give something for them to like EastEnders. It doesn't just go, and then they kiss and lift happily ever after. Doof, 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 doodle, does it? It goes, this is going to come up.
But this isn't EastEnders, Will.
No, but I think it's a similar sort of
So
premise.
what is the next topic? You brought it up.
Well,
This is a similar premise to EastEnders.
What should we go with then?
You pick it.
Well, we can go with the BBC, Gary Lineker, transgenderism.
Okay, well, let's look at BBC and Gary Lineker.
And transgenderism.
It's not going to get both of them into one episode, are we?
Oh, yes, we will.
No, it's not fair on the listeners. We want to keep this under 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
We'll start with BBC Gary Lineker and it'll end up somewhere else. I'm sure, like Gary Lineker should do. All right.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Like I say, if you need a shed moved, Atkins removals, anything like that. Okay. If your pipes are feeling a bit blocked and
hang on,
you've got an unnecessary leak,
well, no,
or you just like silver beards.
If music's your game.
Yeah. Oh, Pepsi Max because Pepsi.
No, they're not
There
paying
you go.
us.
Are they not?
Well, I have a word, but
Yeah. Well, no. You can say.
otherwise we'll blur that out unless they're paying.
Fuck Coke. Pepsi Max is where it's at. There you go. How about that?
Oh, brilliant.
Right.
Pepsi Max.
And on that bombshell,
Hey, you alright, Jezza?
Right. Smoke time. Right.
thank you.
Don't smoke, kids. See you next week.
Bye bye.
See you next week. Been a pleasure.
Bald Statement starred Rob Lewis, Gary Redfern, and Will Atkins. Recorded at Rob Lewis Music Services Studio in Ipswich, UK. This fantastic theme tune is Rumble by Mojo, edited and produced by Rob Lewis. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and listen again.